Hello and welcome back to Nat1 Presents the podcast. Hey Nate.
Hey Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great, Nate. You want to know why I'm doing great?
Why are you doing great?
My mama.
Ooh, what'd your mom do?
So my mom has been listening to the show. She was a late bloomer. You know, we've been doing this for 2 months. Didn't care, but now she's listening now, and we were talking about how the truant officer in an earlier episode was like the boogeyman, and then she just texted me out of nowhere one day and was like, "No, he's real, like." And I was like, "You listened." So thanks, Mom. Also, thanks for becoming a patron.
Thank you, Brenda.
And she also told me a really cool fact that I was really excited about. Did you know, Nate, that our show now plays on Alexa and Siri and all the AI computers?
I did not know that.
Yeah, pretty horrifying if you think about it.
So have you tried it? How easy is it?
It's super easy.
Is it?
I could do it right now, but I don't feel like it.
I gotcha. We don't even want to say the name of it because it might just go off.
No, yeah. Like if Siri or Apple wants us to like say their name, they need to pay us.
Yes.
Apple.
Speaking of which, just $1.
Just $1.
Patreon.
Just $1.
Just $1.
So another reason I'm really excited, Nate, we have some new listeners.
Ooh.
I don't know their names, but actually I do know one of their names, but
Hans?
well, you beat me to it. We have some listeners, according to our analytics, from Germany, Belgium, South Korea, and Russia.
Ooh.
I do actually know the South Korea ones because I have some friends who are stationed there.
Ooh,
so
okay.
that's probably the only person listening in South Korea.
So it's an American.
It's an American.
Yeah. Okay,
it's a shitty American.
Right.
Just kidding, Joel. Love you. It's only $1.
Just $1. Patreon.
So to celebrate some of our new users, we're going to butcher their language. And in the spirit of Greta Thunberg, we're going to say, "How dare you," in some different languages.
I like it.
So do you want to go first?
Yeah, because actually, if you don't know, I'm familiar with German. Ein bisschen. A little bit of German I can speak.
All right.
Yeah, just
you
a
won't
little
be
bit.
doing a lot of these then.
So, wie kannst du es wagen? How dare you? That was auf Deutsch.
All right. How about, okay, so I'll try the Russian.
Okay.
Как ты смеешь?
Whoa, that sounded like a lot.
It sounded like something, right?
For those of you who don't know, I'm looking at the paper right now, and it says kak tai smiesh is like how I'm supposed to pronounce that.
Yeah. And also, I kind of imagine in my head that like right now we're saying like the exact 7 like words you're not allowed to say in like a certain language, almost like Voldemort, but in like Russian or German.
We're
like,
gonna be kicked off of Russian.
I feel like we are like off the air. Like we totally this very well mannered intended gesture has just totally ruined our shot.
It'll be fine. Russian's fine with it. It's not like we're talking to China.
It's whatever. Well, to all our listeners around the world, thank you for listening.
Oh, wait about the Dutch. You forgot the Dutch.
Oh,
the Dutch guy.
Right. Isn't that what tends to happen?
Yeah, we always forget about the Dutch.
Dutchens.
Ho durf je? That sounded kind of Canadian.
Yeah.
I think I actually know some more Dutch, and it goes like a Hurgen Flurgen, and I think that's more of how dare you in Dutch.
Funny you mentioned Canadians because we do have Canadian listeners as
Ooh.
well. I think how they say "how dare you" is "don't worry about it."
While they're eating some poutine.
While they're eating some poutine. I got one last plug today because we are so excited. We have so much going on. Nate.
We got a lot of plugs.
Busy.
A lot of holes.
Have you ever thought about starting a podcast?
Yes, I have.
It's rhetorical, Nate.
Yeah,
Definitely not for you.
Sorry.
If you're our listener and you were thinking about starting a podcast, we actually put together a nice little guide, like about 7 pages of all the facts, just like 2 paragraphs and bullets, like on each topic of just the things I wish people told me, like
Important
where to
stuff.
advertise, where to upload, who will promote you for free, just the bare basics. And so if you're interested, you can head to our Instagram. We have a link on there. It's basically nat1presents.com/podcast guide.
Right.
Check it out. We're really grateful to all the people who have been listening, and we keep hearing that you guys want to maybe start your own show instead of listening to ours. And so I'm going to support that for some very logical
I'll
reason.
support it too, but don't dare be in the same genre because Nat1 Presents will crush you into the ground.
Into the ground.
But we're still friends. But if you want to do something else, like talk about books or something, that's whatever. Go ahead and do it. I appreciate you.
We appreciate you. All right, so I got to say all my business talk. So what are we really here for today, Nate?
Today we're going to do our segment, which it's going to be, what do we decide to call it? Nate versus Nerd, Nerd versus Nerd, Nate versus Nate. Something like that, where we're going to dive deep into the recesses of both of our minds and get to our nerd roots and basically try to one-up each other over our nerdiness. And I think it should be entertaining at the least, but slightly educational for our listeners too, get to know a little bit more about us.
Yeah, absolutely. It started with Nate sharing a fact that I thought was hilarious, and I'm sure it will be dug up today. But I was just like, wow, I really don't know Nate. And like, it'd be great for our listeners to maybe learn a little bit more about each other. But also, we are so into ourselves that what if we did a whole episode where I just basically pit myself against you? Like, no Van Helsing versus Trevor Belmont, no Beastmaster versus Ringmaster. This is Nate versus Nate.
Right.
So
this is us, and
if there's anything we do on the show, it's hair and it's egos.
Ooh,
so here we go. We're gonna try to one up each other, share some personal stories, have some laughs, and we're gonna decide at the end of this. We actually have kind of a third party judge backstage backstage, like this isn't my bedroom. We have a third person here who will at the end call the show and decide who, because obviously we're both biased and think we're better than each other.
Correct.
Which is true.
Lannister.
But yeah, let's get to it. Let's see who is the bigger nerd.
Actually, we should start off and say, because what I told you before didn't actually make my list. Yeah. So I wanted to audition for a show. It was on TBS. It's called King of the Nerds. And I wanted to audition for that. So I made a tape. I made my little brother record it. And then I went through a whole spiel. And it was super embarrassing. And thank God that tape has lost the time. But that's what got this whole idea started.
What, your brother's name is Michael?
Yes.
Michael, if you're listening, if you have that tape, I will pay you whatever sum of money.
Don't do it, Michael.
Whatever sum of money.
Don't do it.
And then we will put it on Patreon.
I got kids. You can't do
And
that.
you will pay $1 to watch it, at least.
Well, if it's going to get people in the door, yeah, check our Patreon out. It might be there. It might not. That's the gamble you have to take on our Patreon.
So are you telling me, Nate, because I thought that was going to be one of your top ones. Are you telling me that didn't even make the list?
No, that didn't even make the list. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating, viewers.
It could be these hot lights in here because we're recording at night like a bunch of vampires today.
I'm really nervous because I have a very linear scale. So I start with some very boring, like, yeah, I guess that's nerdy facts. But whatever, we'll try. So let me go first then, because I'm worried you're going to bring it right to like 100 when I'm trying to go at like 15 miles per hour.
I tried.
Or whatever the metric equivalent is in other countries.
In Deutschland.
In Deutschland. So, all right. My first fact was before the level cap was raised this year in Pokemon Go, I was max level. I was level 40.
Level 40? How long did it take you to get to that?
That's where we're going with this, Nate, huh?
I'm just wondering.
I can't even have my first point. Yeah, all right. So it took me, a game came out in 2016. I don't know what, but I think 2018 is when I achieved, or was it 2019? It might have been 2019. We're going to go with 2018. I think it was late 2018. And that was about 2 years. It took 2 years, Nate.
Wow, that's some dedication to a game.
Or did the game come out in 2015? No. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting to know backstage in my bedroom. So all right, it took about 2 years, Nate.
Okay.
What level are you in Pokemon Go?
Actually, I was the yellow.
I was the yellow. I asked you what level, and you said a color. So I don't think you get to diss how long it took me to be max level. I bet you're under 20.
I guarantee it. Like, I think I only caught like 20 different kind of Pokemon, and then I played it for a couple months, and I was over it. I'm like, it's okay.
Lame. Okay.
I couldn't catch any ghost Pokemon. That's my favorite kind of Pokemon. Like, I couldn't find any anywhere.
Did you ever open the game during the month of October?
No.
Because that's literally the only Pokemon you can catch for a good 45 days.
Well, now I'm just disappointed in myself, really.
I'm disappointed in you too, Nate.
Well,
you're over here thinking like you're going to win this. Well,
I'm not
right off the
judging
bat, you're just throwing colors at me in shade.
Okay, I understand. Well, to keep on with the topic, actually my very first point on here is that I play World of Warcraft. And it's not that much to say it in general, but I think that says something when you admit to playing that game. Like, you're a different caliber of person when you can play World of Warcraft and dedicate time to it.
Yeah, you're something.
Right?
10 years ago, that would have meant something. I feel like today...
It's not that big of a deal?
No, I don't think so. I mean, do I play it? No. But I played Final Fantasy 14. Like, whatever.
Is that any good?
It's all right.
Okay.
It's all right. I don't know. It's whatever.
It's whatever.
I mean, they're all the same, right? They just we play for what? You're gonna play for 2 to 3 months, right? And then you're gonna stop, and then an expansion's gonna come out a year to 2 years later, and you're gonna play the expansion, right? Is that what happens?
No, see, I have a problem, Nate, where I
Which
can't.
one?
Well, it's a bunch of them, but especially with games like this, I can't decide what character I want to be. So they call the characters tunes. So
Tunes.
That's what they call
lame
them.
ass name.
Yeah, I know. But like, I have every class that you can have, but none of them are max level. They're all like level 50, and I just can't.
Don't they literally like fast track you to like?
Oh,
I think they
this
did a squish though, so maybe that's not the case.
No, after this last expansion, they fast track you 1 through 50 like no one's business. So I have all the characters 1 through 50, and then I'm like, I'm over it, and then I just go pick another character. So I've played the same exact quests
I don't think that's hardcore.
over and over again.
Getting to max level in a game like Pokemon Go, I definitely think makes you more hardcore of a nerd.
Well, that's why I only put it as number 1.
Playing every class. Well, you started with the fisticuffs.
No, I did.
Yes, you did. All right, fine.
Give me number 2. What's your number 2?
All right. So my mom actually comes up quite a few times this episode.
We love you, Brenda. Thank you for joining the Patreon.
Thanks, Mom. A lot of the nerdiness comes from her. And so when I was younger, my mom and I went to a children's theater adaptation of The Hobbit.
Ooh, no way. That sounds awesome.
It was pretty good.
It was good?
Pretty good, yeah.
How much do you remember? Like, how old were you? How much do you remember of it?
I mean, it was the plot of The Hobbit.
Right.
So, I mean, they didn't improvise the story.
Was it like adult actors doing it, or was it like children?
No, it was a children's theater. Yeah, like these were, that part I don't remember. Were they middle school? I mean, they weren't elementary school. It wasn't like kids dressed as like infants dressed as Gollum. But yeah, they were young. It was cute. I don't know. I truthfully, I was young enough that I don't remember much. But yeah, it was cool. I like a lot of good memories like that. So
that actually sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a little bit jealous.
That's thanks, Nate. See, it doesn't have to be all us trying to outdo each other.
Right? No, that sounds like a great time. Speaking of the books,
Speaking about doing each other.
man, we didn't decide on these points, but so far 2 for 2, they are rolling right into each other. 99% of my library is sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. Now, you've been to my house. I don't know if you saw my, I call it a library. It's a huge bookshelf. It takes up a whole wall. But
Usually you just like push me into the kitchen and then start yelling at your family.
Yes.
So I never really get to like really experiencing anything else.
And that's actually no different when Nate's not there. I just walk through the house. I start pushing people down and I'm like, Dad's grumpy. Leave me alone.
Rip Pickles.
Yeah. I push Pickles down. She loves it. She loves it. But my library consists of all nerd books. There's like one serious book on there that somebody bought me. What's the finance guy? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
With bald hair and glasses.
Not Ramsey, something Ramsey.
No, I think it is Ramsey or whatever. And somebody bought me one of those. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And it's on the library. But I haven't even cracked open that book. Like, I'm not reading that.
Okay.
It's too close to the real world.
I have a story that relates to that. Not nerdy at all.
Okay,
So I hope to God my friend does not watch this video, but
which one?
It was a friend from college.
Okay.
And he invited his family. Like, basically you could purchase like a video series and watch it together, and it's like, so his family purchased it and then they invited us, and I watched an episode and it just wasn't for me.
That sounds like a terrible time.
A few things. Well, and for one, I think their end goal was like, maybe, everybody was chipping in, right, to make it more like that. That was a very financial thing to do, was to like split. So they just like let us try it. But for one, it was like the super basics of like, you need to set a budget, which is one like, okay, like kind of a no-brainer, but maybe some people need to hear that. But where I started to get lost was it fell into very outdated stereotypes where he's like talking and he's like, so the women, they're gonna like to spend, so the guys have to set the budget. And you know me, not super traditional,
right?
I don't know who the woman is in my relationship. So, it was very me sitting and just kind of like an episode about like you need a budget because your housewife
spends
goes
all
shopping.
your money.
I was just a little like, so I didn't go back. I definitely didn't go back. And that was, now listen, I've heard so much actually about, what's his name again? Something Ramsey?
Yeah, Gordon.
No,
that's not, that's a chef guy.
I would do that finance class where he's like,
you idiot, you donkey.
Yeah, get a savings, you donkey.
But yeah, I don't know his real name. But I would have been lost right there too.
I do hear really good things. So I think that was literally an introductory chapter that was probably just hasn't aged well.
Right.
But I do hear really great things, and that he probably actually gives insightful advice. But for me, that killed it.
Right.
And I'm a person like, if I believe in like hiring consultants and coaches all the time. I like having mentors is huge, and I think you excel faster and better. But whenever I like, try to use a mentor and they tell me things I already know, then it's like that is the fastest way to lose my respect. Like you need to, like, you should be able really quickly to assess. I mean, it was a fucking video recording, so like obviously he couldn't talk back to me.
At the TV.
But like when someone's like working with me and like coaching me, they need to assess quickly, like, okay, you already know this, let's skip to the part that you don't. When someone consults for me and then just tells me things I already know, good luck ever getting business for me again. So anyway, didn't go well. But funny you mentioned that that's the only non-book you have.
Right.
I do gotta say though, not super nerdy. I didn't really know there was other genres aside from science fiction and fantasy and young adult.
Oh, and horror.
Horror. Oh, you do have horror. Nice.
Yes, horror.
Nice. What's like a horror novel? Like, drop a title for me.
I read a lot of Joe Hill. So that's the son of Stephen King, and I have all of his books. And I am just
is Stephen King considered horror too?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And there's just something about reading a book. And it makes you feel like a terrible person for reading this book. Like that's how his novels are. Where I put it down, I'm like, man, wow, am I this guy? Yeah. Like I feel like a real piece of shit right now. And it makes you feel good, but in a weird way. You know, like at least I'm not like that guy.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like a genre I'll never pick up in my life. But do you still read these days? Like let's be honest. Like with audiobooks, with podcasts, with streaming, do you find you're still reading?
Yes, absolutely. There's something about it. Like I don't know if it's nostalgia or what, but like I want to crack open that book and smell the paper. And there's just something about that. I tried like an ebook and reading on my phone, and it's just not the same. I'm just over it. It's like reading an email.
I haven't been reading nearly as much these days, but I will say if I am going to read something, anything like physical, I want physical.
Right.
I don't like reading on screens at all. I like suffer through it for the news, and that's about it. But
like, don't we do that enough? Like, you read a book and want to escape reality. Like, it feels like screens are so part of a reality right now. You're wasting my time.
Do you think that's how people feel though about like, so like we want to like turn page, like we grew up turning pages, and so it just feels so unnatural without that. But do you think that like that's how like old people feel about like they used to use records, and now like you just listen to music on your phone by pushing a button? They're like, it's not even really music if you don't like spin something around like at a velocity.
I get that. Or like you lose the soul of the sound, and then like the old people stuff eventually turns into like hipster stuff. We're like all the cool young kids. Like, it's got to be on vinyl.
This is quickly just turning into us dating ourselves really badly. So I'm gonna move on. Okay, so it's my turn, right? I don't even know where we're going. Okay. This is this is just really embarrassing. I don't think it's even nerdy. So in elementary school, I want to say like second grade, third grade, maybe first grade, second or first, I think. For some reason there was a dancing robot at an assembly. And it was what's the thing where you like put people's hands, your hands on someone's shoulder, and then you like, and someone puts their hands on your shoulder. What's that called? It was like a conga line with a dancing robot, but my pants kept falling down. Oh no. And everybody was laughing at me, and that scarred me for a long time. And I don't know why, but I put that on the list. I think just because dancing with a robot. Like, have you danced with a robot?
Never in my life. No.
So
I do the robot dance, terribly.
Okay, we'll call that like a tie then.
But then I'm a dad, so I do lots of dumb shit like that.
Yeah, I believe that totally. That's really all that is. Should I just go to another point? Was that not good enough, or do you?
No, actually, I have something I can bounce off that. We'll just skip around, basically just have a conversation. Yeah, embarrassing childhood trauma. I used to be fat.
No.
Yes.
No way. I can't imagine.
It was.
You look like the person who picks on the fat people.
I did. Okay, now here's the story. Oh my god, I kicked the table. I'm sorry. Here's the story. I was a fat kid from probably like third grade to, I know for a fact, the beginning of sixth grade. And what it was is I did bully the fat kids.
While you were fat?
Yes. And nobody called me out on it. Like, so it was so bad, Nate. Like, I would go home and I'd eat a whole can of Pringles and a whole package of Bar S bologna, with the little red stuff. Like, that night by myself, I'd just eat that. Well, it got to a point where
I'm like slowly sliding like my can of Pringles and like thing of bologna.
Sour cream and onion. And then a fat kid was like, "Hey, you're making fun of me. Why don't you look in the mirror?" And I usually always have something to say, and that stopped me right in my tracks. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm a fat kid." And like that week, I went home and told my mom, like, we need to do something, like sign me up for wrestling or something, because I had buddies who wrestled, and they're like, you should do it. And after that, I weighed the same amount in fifth grade that I did my senior year of high school, and I grew probably 1.5 feet.
Wow.
160 pounds as a fifth grader.
So are you saying that being fat is nerdy? Is that what you're asserting here?
Kind of. Like, I think it just goes that thing where everybody has and goes through like that nerdy phase.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that was
or is it that nerds bully other people despite being like what the same, like the exact.
That's definitely the day and age now.
Yeah. I just feel, if you're listening, I don't think you're a nerd. I don't think you're anything that Nate's describing at all. I don't think you're fat or have a neck beard or anything like that. So.
I think you're all those things. And if you want to prove me wrong, sign up to our Patreon.
Sign up to our Patreon and use your profile picture.
I'll call you out on it. I used to be fat. One of us. One of us.
All right. Wow. Well.
So top that.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I mean, I just generally like my weight bounces up and down. I vary like 20 pounds throughout the year, like up and down, just like each. So I don't know, but I've never. I don't know. I also don't know when you say fat, like if you were like very like no neck, double chin fat, or you just like chunky. I'm a little chunky.
I'll send you a picture, and if we really want to, we can post it on the Patreon.
We'll post it on Patreon.
But like big chubby chipmunk cheeks. I had boobies and a big old tummy that I like grab and shake. It was so bad one time. Dad, if you're watching, this scarred me for life. I played AYSO soccer, and he was like, you need to show some ambition out there. Go out there and chase that ball like it's a meatball. And
did he say that in front of people?
Yes, and that hurt my feelings so bad. I don't know if he remembers it, but man, that like cut me deep, you know. And man,
okay.
I still love you, Dad.
Man, some of the ones I have now are so lame, but they're also like actually nerdy, where you're just really sharing bizarre, embarrassing experiences in your life. And so I think we're having a deeper discussion about what being a nerd is. Like I assumed it's about like media consumption and a certain culture, but for you I think it's really about like self-shame and trauma. Is what makes a nerd. So leave a comment if you think let us know what which one you think being a nerd is, or is it both? I don't know.
I think it's a little bit of both.
I think it's a little bit of both, right? I'm just too proud to maybe share some of my embarrassing. I mean, I shared the dancing robot, but
that is embarrassing. Your pants are falling down. That's not fact.
What do I got next? Some of these are so sentimental. Like I'm over here like talking about my family. Like, all right, so my dad, when I was younger, we would go walking. We lived like in a wooded area. I went at my dad's house, and we would go walking in the woods. And so he found this like big old branch, and he carved it into a walking stick. But he like looked very like Gandalf at the top. So it was all curved. It had like a knot on it, and then he had like cool things, and he carved it. And for about like a year of my life, that stick was the only thing I wanted in my life. Like that wizard stick. Like I wanted it so bad.
Did he let you have it?
No. No. I think he still has it.
Typical wizard, not giving away the source of power. You know? And he could have been a druid for all we know. We just jumped straight to wizard. I'm still upset about it not being a druid.
No, my dad's never had animals like ever, so I don't think he's a druid. But speaking of animals, my cats, some of them are named after Norse gods, and Avatar Airbender characters.
Ooh, what are your cats' names? I love cats.
So I used to have a boy cat, and my mom has it now. My mom just keeps coming up. Wow. My mom has my boy cat from my a couple years ago, and his name is, girl cat. Her name is Odin.
Ooh.
I tend to switch genders actually now that I think about it. So yeah, the girl cat was named Odin. And now I have another girl cat named Appa from Avatar The Last Airbender. Looks nothing like, you know, what. I don't know, I like those names.
Right? An air bison?
Yeah.
Right?
You know, just cute.
I like it.
What do you got? Do you have anything that does do with animals, or maybe something like a positive memory? Anything with your family? You once told me your mom's a big nerd.
Yes, she is a big nerd. She got me into all the movies like Beastmaster, like we talked about. She told me to watch that. Or made me watch it. She actually got me into Robot Jocks. My favorite. Did you watch that, by the way?
I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I've just been marketing Nat1.
No, my God, crazy. You're so busy doing the whole business while I'm over here doing nothing, just watching Game of Thrones. But yeah, my mom got me into all that stuff. Willow was a huge one. Like,
I have fallen asleep every single time.
Oh man, movie. Val Kilmer, come on, it's good.
That's the one. Never mind.
What are you thinking of? One with Tom Cruise? What's that one called, Chris? With Tom Cruise, where he battles the devil. He's like a fairy guy.
What are you talking about?
You haven't seen that one?
No, I need to know the answer to this.
Well, I need to look it up then. I don't have my phone.
Tom Cruise. So tell me more about it.
Tom Cruise is young, and then he goes against like this devil guy, right? And he like lives in a fairy forest. Oh, it's like a super easy name, and I can't.
God. We have our backstage producer.
Yeah, he's looking up the stats
my friend from
right
college, looking this up. I need to know. I've never heard of that in my life.
And he like kills a unicorn, and then everybody's like, "Oh, you killed a unicorn."
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't believe this is true. Is there any record of this?
Legend. Thank you.
Oh
Legend.
God.
It has like the famous like big red devil guy with the huge horns coming up.
That's every devil I've ever.
Well, Legend is notorious for that. See, yeah.
I've never heard of it. Have you heard of it, Chris? No. It's a no.
Mom, that's another thing you can be disappointed in Nate about. He hasn't seen Goonies. He hasn't seen Legend. And he sleeps through Willow.
Wow. Okay.
Well, me and my mom are disappointed.
Let's see. What else do I got here? I have so much stuff. I have been to multiple Renaissance fairs willingly.
Ooh, me too. I go and like have a good time.
Okay. But have you dressed up?
Yes. Me and Corbin I think it was 2 years in a row we were matching kilts.
God damn.
And Corbin is so handsome. Like, I don't even know why I bother dressing up, because when you have a little kid that dresses up, people are like, oh, look at a little kid. And then I'm like, oh, I just look like a piece of shit over here.
I wear the like I like me a vest, you know.
Ooh, yeah.
So I like a ruffle, whatever, pirate shirt and like a vest. That's usually the way I go.
Ooh, I like that.
But it's been a while since I dressed up.
I know.
I cannot wait for the pandemic to go away because we need a Renaissance Fair stat
So bad.
And all we're gonna do as Nat1 is just trash on people. We're gonna like have like microphones not plugged into anything, and we're just going to come up to people and just rag on them.
Like the tomato heckler that you throw tomatoes at.
Yeah.
We're gonna be that, but don't you dare throw a tomato at us. And you take a business card.
And you take a business card.
And I actually have a point that I wrote about Renaissance fairs.
Okay.
It is actually extremely hard for me when I go to Renaissance fairs because I always want to buy a weapon of some kind. And I have to refrain from doing so. I'm like, man, look at that bastard sword. Like,
yeah,
I need that in my house.
That's very nerdy. Like a lot of the friends I have buy things that are, I love to spend money. Like, I mean, our backstage producer, who I just keep making up, he knows that I spend in a heartbeat, but I like, and not a lot of them are practical, but I've never bought like $1,000 weapons or anything, or like I don't know. I don't buy crazy weird stuff. Whereas like a lot of my friends are buying lightsabers and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I had a lightsaber.
Yeah. Okay.
It was really nice.
Well, like from like the Disneyland, like the really like the $100 ones, or more of like a.
It was like a $350 one. So it had like the glass tube. You couldn't go and whack people with it. It had the glass tube with the neon inside lit up. It made all the
So
sound
what do you mean you
effects when
had a
swung it.
lightsaber?
Well, that's another point that I have on here. I used to collect video game memorabilia, but there comes a time in your life when
Where you want to have sex.
Yes. And then said spouse, in my case, Megan, says it's time to grow up. And I accepted that. And I got rid of my favorite thing, which was a Marcus Phoenix doll. It was probably like 16 inches tall from Gears of War. And I love that thing. He had a little Lancer in there and everything. I left him in the box. I didn't even take him out and play with him.
Did you sell them?
Yeah, at a yard sale of all things.
That must have been soul crushing.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely.
It broke my heart so bad.
Megan really whipped you into shape.
Yeah, I got rid of him. I got rid of my Master Chief helmet from the Halo
that is
3
such
collectors.
like anybody I knew who played Halo 2 in high school had a Master Chief helmet.
But it's just one of many things, and the Marcus Phoenix was the big blow for me because I love that thing. I love Gears of War, and that thing just broke my heart.
It had to happen. I feel like I'm going to start bringing out the bigger guns because I think you're starting to tilt the scale in your favor.
Okay, what do you got? What do you got?
Let's see. No, I need to go bigger. All right, well, I have I don't know if that's big enough. We'll start with this. I have the theme songs to Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy, and Mortal Kombat on my phone, and I typically listen to them on loop. And not all 4 of them, or like however many. I pick one, like the Mortal Kombat themes, and I listen to it for like 4 hours straight while I'm at work.
Ooh.
You would think I'm on like a trip, but it's actually just my workflow. It works really well.
That's like what gets you pumped.
Yeah. Like imagine it's 3 a.m. I'm trying to promote Nat1 on some kind of podcast, Facebook group channel, and Mortal Kombat's playing.
I'm just surprised you can sit through the whole Mortal Kombat song, because once it starts getting to the point in the second part where he's naming names, that's when it really loses it for me in this.
Really?
Yeah. Jax, Sonya, Johnny Cage.
What's like a really lame sounding like Mortal Kombat character, like from the newer people?
Ooh, from the new people.
Now they have all these like not even Mortal Kombat brands, like RoboCop.
Right. Terminator.
Yeah.
Rambo
Joker.
was the last one. Yeah.
Rambo.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I would like somebody mix that song where they just name like a bunch of like
the obscure ones,
like the weird characters. Yeah.
I might listen to that. But if we're talking about stuff we listen to, I listen to a lot of weird stuff. Like guttural Celtic music. I will jam that out in my car, where it's the like and then like and then like there's bongos going. I will jam that out and bump that at a stoplight, and people will look over and I'll be like, what's up, you know? And there's always some lady like, hey,
I've never ridden in a car with you, but that sounds like a really good time.
Oh, it's an intense time. Megan picks all the music now. Family trips.
Poor Megan. I just feel like she has to like micromanage you like so much to just be like a functional like,
human being yes.
in society. Like,
because if we bring that up to my next point, I actually take days off of work to stay home and play video games. And it used to happen a hell of a lot more before I had Megan. I got called into the office numerous times. They're like, you don't have enough sick days. What's going on? And I'm like, well, man, to tell you the truth, Gears of War 4 just came out, and I've been binging that in my house.
Wow. I don't have anything to that extent per se. There was for my, like 1 year for my birthday at work, because I showed up late the day after the premiere of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they literally
knew.
like made my card and like called it out. I was late a lot when I used to be at work. Not like I never got in like trouble for it or all, but it was just kind of like known. And then like when a game came out, it was also just kind of known that I'd be even more late.
Right.
You know, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. But no, I didn't typically take sick days. I'm sure it's happened, like, but it's more like I actually just didn't feel like going to work, or I was actually sick, and then I went and played video games.
Right.
Like, that's probably more likely.
It's got to the point where I call it a mental health day. Like,
oh yeah,
you want me to function correctly? Like, I need to take this day off work.
I think those are real things though. Like, because we live in like a society where you're always on, right? Like, I mean, up until recently, I got instant messages at 8 and 9 o'clock from my boss asking for things. So like we live in an always on society, and you know, for the most part, I'm okay with it. Like, you can have my data, you can contact me whenever, but then all of a sudden there's a certain days where like you kind of like can't function, and you just maybe need to unplug
Right.
a little
Need
bit.
that alone time.
Yeah, no, I'm all about a mental health day, and there is nothing nerdy or embarrassing about that at all. Take care of yourselves, listeners. But since we're talking about video games, here's one I got for you. I just gotta find it real quick. I have played, I think, 12 of the 15 main title Final Fantasy titles to completion. I've only not played 3 of them. And then, like, I mean, there's like a lot of things that I don't consider count. Like, some of them have sequels and like that aren't good.
Right. Or like the card game or something.
Yeah, and that doesn't include tactics. And so, I mean, that series has a million games. But yeah, I played 12 of the 15. I am a huge Final Fantasy, Square Enix, weeboo, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite one? 7?
No, fuck that.
I thought everyone says 7 with Cloud.
No,
and
everyone
stuff.
does say 7. So it's kind of all right. Here's unpopular opinion here.
Ooh, here we go.
About to trigger some listeners. So I think Final Fantasy 7 and Ocarina of Time came out around the same time, and this was when these games, when they launched, were like a huge jump in 3D graphics. Like the games before, I think Ocarina of Time was basically like A Link to the Past, which was like isometric Super Nintendo,
right?
And then Final Fantasy was like still pixel art until then it was finally actually like a 3D world on the PlayStation.
Right.
And so these games, I think, are revered because yeah, they were good. Yes, they're fun, they're epic like RPGs and stuff, but they are like the first in the series to be like these big 3D
next gen.
Yeah, and that's why they're good. I personally, when I go back, I think Majora's Mask is a far more interesting A Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild blows Ocarina of Time way out of the book, in my opinion, not just because it's newer. Same with Final Fantasy. But that being said, you asked me what my favorite one is. It's not a good one. Most people don't like Final Fantasy VIII, but that was the very first one I played. And so it really, and that one is kind of about it. The story is so lame, but it's basically about high school assassins, essentially, who can summon genies. And the twist is that they were all orphans together but forgot. But I don't know, it sticks with me, Nate. It's not great the more I think about it, but that's who it is. That angsty squall Lionheart character. I definitely wanted to be him for like ever. So that's probably my favorite Final Fantasy, just for sentimental reasons. And then after that, for like it's actually a good game, Final Fantasy X. Is my favorite. That one was pretty bomb.
See, I've never even played. I played a little bit of 7, and that was it. But I always picked the wrong racehorse in the console wars. So, like, I got a Sega Genesis. I got a Sega Dreamcast. I got a Nintendo fucking GameCube. Like, it seems like I always picked the wrong ones. So instead of playing Final Fantasy, I got to play Pirates of Arcadia, which I love that one.
Yeah, there's. I don't think GameCube. I mean, probably compared to what was it? Was it PlayStation the competitor? Or PlayStation 2 was probably more the competitor. Yeah, PlayStation 2 knocked it out.
Oh yeah, I crushed it.
And then Xbox was kind of in its heyday then too at that time for a little while.
Right.
So I guess that makes sense, but I definitely don't consider GameCube the less cool version. But I don't know. Like, I will buy a Nintendo system every time it comes out, mostly to play Smash Bros. And then to play the new Zelda. Like, I'll play other stuff too, but that's probably why I will buy the 2 consoles every time.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, video game. We went from video games. All right, I have like a cool sentimental story. Do you play any card games? Do you like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon?
I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh like all the time. I thought I was gonna go pro.
Did you?
I'm so good.
Okay, so I also played Yu-Gi-Oh. Do you got a story to go with it?
No,
I got 2 stories.
Not really. It was one of those things where like I collected all the cards and I thought I was badass. Like I wanted to be Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like blue-eyed white dragon. Like fucking eat it.
That's so cis white male. Like you blue eyes white. Go figure.
I summoned the Aryan dragon.
Looking back. All right, so 2 stories here. First of all, when I was younger, I bought a pack, and when I like a booster pack for Yu-Gi-Oh, when I opened it, it was just like on the old TV when like a TH station wasn't working, it was like yellow bar, red bar, blue bar. So I got a card that was holographic foils, just those, and it was 7 of those or whatever, however many comes in a booster pack. And so my dad told me to write a letter to Wizards and tell them that I got like a bad pack.
Weird, yeah.
So I wrote them a letter, and I had very simple requests. I just said, since I got a bad pack, I would like 1 of each piece of Exodia, and then I proceeded to list every card from the anime that was cool. Like I was like Toon World, all that.
Like you had demands.
Yeah, I had demands. I didn't get those cards, but they did send me a card. They basically sent me like a booster pack back to replace the bad one I got, and that was it. But I was like, I don't know. I thought like this was fair compensation. I also kept those cards because I also thought they'd be worth something.
Are they?
Though I don't know, they're gone. They're gone. So this leads me to my second story.
Okay.
So after high school, I did a gap year before going to college. I went to Los Angeles and worked with inner city students, 8th graders, teaching them math and English.
What's that mean, a gap year? Because I'm not familiar. Because right after high school, I just went to work.
Yeah. So like literally a gap year can be any program before going to college. You do some kind of real world experience, usually community service, but even like to some extent, a gap year could just be a year where you go work. It could be any job. You could just be a regular job. Okay. So a gap year is not going right to college, but then going back to school.
Well, I'm still having a gap year.
Yeah. And so the program I did was called City Year, and actually the point was they wanted you to do it actually after college. So you do like your sophomore year of college, senior year, junior year, senior year, and then they wanted you to do a City Year. So they wanted everybody after college to do 1 year community service. I just did it after high school because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
Didn't get into the colleges I wanted. Wasn't motivated, so I went and did that. And so anyway, I worked with inner city students, and to my surprise, Yu-Gi-Oh had really still stuck around. It was really big. So I'm like, I called up my grandparents who had my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I was like, Grandma, send me the tin. So she sends me my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and my like claim to fame that I thought I was super cool was that I had an actual from a booster pack. You used to be able to buy the tin starter decks that had like the cool like Blue Eyes White Dragons. Those, yeah, of course you did. I was poor, so I could only afford booster packs. I had a real Red Eyes Black Dragon, which isn't a good card. Not great. No. Though it can fuse with another card I didn't have to make the like Meteor Dragon or whatever. Yeah, but didn't have that. But I had a real Red Eyes, and that was always kind of my claim to fame. But anyway, I had my grandmother send me my cards. And then so I like one day after class, because the kids spit on me and like hated me. I was I was like a nonprofit student tutor. They not cool in Los Angeles, not cool.
Go figure.
But anyway, I would try to get them to come after school to do the homework. They never did. And try to get them back. My whole job was like in each class I would pick like I would be assigned basically like these 10 students will probably not graduate. Like and these were like 6th graders, and they're like already they are so far behind that if we don't get them on track in like math and English, they're not gonna ever graduate high school. Damn. So I had this list, but anyway, so I needed to get those kids after school. So I'm like, if you guys come after school and do your homework, I'll show you my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Ooh, did that get them in?
Oh, it got him in. You know what else it got him into? It got him into stealing all my cards.
No!
So basically how it was working was when kids were done with their homework, I would let them like look through the cards.
Right.
But then I was still helping other kids with homework.
Oh,
I'd go
no.
help some kid. I'd go back. A card's missing. I'd help some kid. I'd go back.
Sneaky
Another kid.
bastards.
So eventually what I decided was that I outgrew Yu-Gi-Oh! And so everybody at the end of like the session, I'm like, take what you want. And I just gave away the rest of the cards and I let them take them. Right. It wasn't like, I'm not so petty that I'm like, oh, like, who stole my cards? Give it back. Nobody's going home. You're all going to fail. Like, I didn't care. I had them. So I gave out the rest of the cards. That was it. But I won't lie. as it was happening, I was like, I'm gonna
Fuming.
strangle this fucking
Yeah.
kid. Like I'm gonna go to jail for attacking a child
Over Yu-Gi-Oh
over
cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then I just like let it go and stuff, and I was like, whatever. So
It's the principal thing. I'd be like, nobody's leaving.
So yeah, I'm
Chopping
sure,
block
yeah,
all of you.
You would have like locked the doors, played some Gaelic music, did some like spirit bongo nonsense, and scared the hell out of these kids. Read some Stephen King aloud.
I would have played O Fortuna because that song's the creepiest one out there.
You're gonna have to play it for our user sometime.
Oh, you know how it goes. It's the one in every demon movie. It's like, oh, Fortuna. And like the fire in the eyes, you know, and like smoke in the back.
Yeah.
La, 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 la.
Of course you have that.
Yeah.
Of course you do. All right, what do you got, Nate? Because I'm coming up to about my top 4 that I
Okay.
think are worth talking about.
Okay, we're getting
'cause
down to
we just
it.
plowed through some of the other shit that doesn't even matter anymore.
Okay, hold on. I love Twilight.
Get the fuck out of here.
I can't help it.
No, and
man.
I'm not saying like no way. I'm saying like get out of
No,
the
I
studio.
can't help it. I'm sorry.
wait.
There's
So,
something
wait.
about it. There's something about it.
Explain- Wait.
Like
Lots
I
of
read
back
all.
here.
I read all the books. I went to all the movies in theaters. Team Edward.
You know I'm the gay one, right?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to double. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Not making fun of that. Tell me what you like. Truthfully, I read some of the first book with my classmates during that gap year.
Ooh, okay.
I did like book clubs because I was just trying whatever I could to get these kids back into school. You know, so we read some Twilight.
Right.
Bad writing, first of all.
It's not the greatest.
It's not great. Stephanie Myers.
Like in the
Not
second
great.
book, when you turn a page and all it says is the name of a month. Like, thanks.
Yeah. Basically. So what did you love the writing? You love the universe? You love
I think it was just the
Edward?
idea of it.
Wait, are you team Edward or team what's the other kid's name?
Jacob.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Which one
Edward
are
all
you?
the way. Like, I want to be a vampire.
You want to sparkle?
Yeah. And not even necessarily the sparkles. Like, I just want to be a vampire. I love the idea of like stupid Bella Swan going to school, and then there's like an immortal there who's like, oh, you're mine now, bitch. And then like, let's go be immortal together and we'll be super strong and never feel pain. But by the way, we have to go eat deer. Like, I just love that idea. And there's something about it. Like, I get pretty defensive about it because even Megan, like, I went with, what would it be? It would be like her stepsister or something like that. We left Megan at home, and me and Megan's stepmom and stepsister went to go watch, I think it was New Moon. I think it was that.
You know what, Nate? Not even kidding. I really respect that. Like,
Okay.
right? Like, I think one thing if you get from the Nat1 show is that you can be whoever you want, whatever you're into. You can be the cool kid. You can be the nerd. You can be the fat kid who makes fun of other fat kids.
Yes.
No, don't be that person. Just kidding. But
Unless you want to be like me.
But yeah, no, I don't believe that. Like, I'm tired of like the current state of the internet that tells you what is nerdy and tells you what is cool and what's not.
Right.
Like, whatever. Like, it's science. Like, is that science fiction or whatever? Yeah, or fantasy, like young
Right.
adult. Yeah, and like that's Harry Potter is better, way better.
Oh, absolutely.
way better.
Without a doubt.
But Harry Potter is young adult fantasy science
Right.
fiction. Like, it's the same thing. Like, so don't get out of here, you know. So that's fine. It's not like. Am I surprised? Am I learning new things about you? Awesome. Like, that's what we're
Okay.
here to do, Nate. That's what we're here to do. And I don't know, though. Does that make him lean? Is that helping him or making him lose, though?
I don't know, because like
I'm gonna
you
keep
said,
you where
who's
it
the
is.
label what nerd
Yeah.
is?
No.
You know, but like, have I recently just binge watched them? Yes. When I get depressed, do I sit at home and eat ice cream out of the tub and watch all the Twilights? Yes.
Wow. Nate, wow.
I'm opening up for our listeners, Nate. They need to know
Just
about
with
us.
each week that passes, I just really my heart bleeds out to Megan, and like what she must see.
She's a
on the
strong
other
woman,
side.
my
She's
Megan.
she's a strong woman. Man, I don't even know what I want to talk. Like my stuff is just so normal. Like it's not. It's just whatever. But okay. Let's see. Do you want sentimental or not embarrassing, but like maybe impressive, sentimental or impressive or just factual?
Is it another family story? Because I like your family story.
You like my favorite one? Okay. So we have my husband and I. We are going to name our child, and we know exactly what the child's name will be. It's kind of we think it's a unisex name. So
Khaleesi.
No, lame. But it does. I was gonna say it does begin with a K, but Khaleesi I think begins with a C. We are going to name our child probably a girl, but it could be a boy. Kirby. We think that's a great name.
Okay.
And also, well, I'm not going to say my last name because I don't want to get doxxed. But also, though, it's online anyway, so who doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
it flows well. Like Kirby Casimiro sounds like
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
name. A little bit of whatever iteration, No, that's
Now
not.
you need to think about the future here too, Nate, because we had a problem choosing our names. I want to name Corbin
Yeah,
Vash.
you have experience, so tell
Yeah.
me about that.
I want to name him Vash after Vash the Stampede. Yes, thank you, Chris.
I don't know what that is.
It's from one of the best animes out there, Trigun.
Okay.
Do you concur, Chris? Chris likes it. Change spots.
He's a keeper.
But I want to name him Vash. I love that name.
Okay.
But then Megan's like, no, you can't name him that because you need to think about the other kids. And they're going to call him Vag. And he can't.
That's
be
exactly
going
where
to
I
school.
wasn't even going to say it, but
Right?
that's where it went for me.
That's where she got
where
it.
it went.
Right? Now you need to think about little Kirby right now. When she goes to school, what if she's fat? Now you have a fat little girl named Kirby. The kids are going to try to stuff.
It always goes back to your weight problem.
I
doesn't
know,
it?
man. It scarred me for life.
Yeah, well, we'll think about it. I don't know. I'm a little less worried about, I mean, I would be more worried about my child being called Vag than like fat.
Right.
We're going to teach like healthy, body self-love and all that jazz. So I'm not too worried about
But
that.
apparently the other kids at school don't know about that shit.
Like Kirby isn't like Kirby like a space assassin wizard? Like,
I thought it was a big fat ball with shoes and sucked stuff.
Well, and there goes that. So whatever. Anyway, that's what my spouse and I agreed. So we were going to name, I think that's a big one, naming our child after a video game character. I think that makes that one. All right. You want to go emotional? I have a few more that I'm still going to go back to, but I'm going to just lay it out there.
Lay it on me, Nate.
This is what I think, if I'm going to win this is what it's going to be with. Did I ever tell you a story about how I proposed to my husband?
No, you have not.
I proposed at the Phoenix Comic-Con
Okay.
on stage during a nerdy burlesque show. So they were burlesque dancers
Okay.
dressed as anime and game characters.
Okay.
And my husband was dressed as Pikachu and I was dressed as Red, who's basically like the Ash, like the original.
Yeah.
They're not the same, but you get the idea.
Right.
So I proposed. So I went up. Basically, what happened was we were at the burlesque show. My husband didn't know. It was a surprise. I had a Pokeball with me the whole time I was there because it was part of my costume. But guess what was inside of the Pokeball, ladies and gentlemen? It was a ring. And my sister was there. And oh my goodness, I thought she was going to ruin it. She just kept like, I'm so excited. She like every time my husband was like maybe 6 inches away. And I'm like, he's right there. Like please, please, God, don't ruin this. And so anyway, I had contacted the show and they were super into it. They're like, we love it. Like, we'll call you up during the mid show. We'll say that you like, I'm like, I recommend it. I'm like, hey, say that like I lost my wallet and you guys found it. And just like, hey, this person lost their wallet. So that's what they did. And I lose my wallet all the time and my husband always finds it. So they totally bought into it.
Oh, yeah.
So like literally they called me up and like, we have someone, they pretend to have someone's wallet and they called my name and he's like, are you real? Like seriously, he was like making fun. He was literally like ashamed of me. And,
he's like, again?
Yeah. And so he totally bought it. So I go up on stage and I'm like, if you want this back, you're going to have to dance. So I started to like, I like took off my gloves and started to like sexy dance.
Right.
And then they stopped that real fast. real fast. I have this all on video, by the way.
Okay.
If you become a Patreon member, I will share my video of how I proposed to my husband. And anyway, they stopped the dancing and they're like, you know what? Like, we're not feeling it. Like, you're going to have to do something even more impressive. So I said, well, what if I propose to my husband? Audience gasps. We call up David. And there is, my phone is actually what we're recording the video on.
Technology.
There is a meme I have of my husband and his face. And I just like, the memes where you like, it keeps zooming in on the same image.
Yeah.
He just has this face of like, fuck. And it's
Was he
pretty
embarrassed?
solid. He was so embarrassed, but it was perfect. It was so good. And it was the best. It was the absolute best. And then we have like photographers were there. So we got like professional images because they were already photographing the show and they're like, we were so inspired by your story and they sent the images for free. So, I have
Nate always working the angles. You know?
Right. Yeah. It's, I knew what I was doing. And yeah, so that's, the story of my engagement, my marriage. He said yes, obviously. And yeah, so beat that, Nate.
Okay.
Yeah. Not so easy, huh?
Okay. As we all know, I'm a big fan of my hair. But I also have a problem with speaking my mind to people. Like, if something's wrong, I won't say it. I'll just be like, yeah, that's fine. And then go about my day.
Oh, I know.
So in my adult life, I went to a salon and got my hair cut. Because I lived in a small, dinky town. So, like, my options were slim. I used to drive all the way to Vegas, hour-long drive to get my hair cut. And then after this day, that was guaranteed. I was no longer getting my hair cut in this town. I was driving to Vegas. Hour long just to get there, hour-long trip back. I don't even know how to say it. She cut my hair and she's like, I think I did what you wanted. And it was something
That's
similar.
something you don't want to hear. First of
Right.
all, I think I did what you asked.
Right.
Not a good start.
And it's supposed to be a similar cut to what I have here.
Okay.
what I'm currently sporting.
Not anything crazy.
Right.
Nothing.
Check
right?
the Patreon, just $1.
Just $1.
And when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't believe it. It was a straight bowl haircut.
Is that what you asked for?
No, absolutely not. As an adult man with a bowl haircut, I was speechless for the first time ever in my entire life. I am not one to be speechless. The air left my body without making a noise.
Quick question for you. I don't want to interrupt you, but you're usually when I get my haircut, I'm looking in a mirror as they do it. So like, did you not see it happening as it had?
No idea.
Like, did she blindfold you?
No,
as
she had me turned away from the mirror the entire time.
All right, that was sign number 2 of don't.
Well, I obviously didn't see it, Nate, until it was too late.
You don't. If your hairdresser or stylist has you angled a different way while she cuts your hair. Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm looking at it, and she sees that I have nothing to say about it. I am just speechless. I was like,
she's like, you love it, don't you?
Okay. And she's like, well, it looks kind of weird now, but you just got to put product in it. And I was like, what the? Get me out of this chair. Like, I went from shocked to pissed instantly. And I still didn't say anything. I was like, thanks. How much do I owe you? I paid her. I still gave her a tip. Because I have a serious problem not tipping people, so I still gave her a tip, but it was only $1 when normally
only $1.
Yeah, only $1, just $1 Patreon.
So that's almost more insulting than not tipping, by the way. So
exactly. So I was stormed out of there. I was so pissed, and then there was nothing I could do about it. I didn't want to shave the rest of my hair. I wanted to salvage it. So for 4 days, I had a bowl haircut.
That's crazy. Did you ever watch Dexter's Lab?
Yes.
When I think bowl haircut, I don't know his name. Beginning with an M, like Mandark.
Yes.
I always think of like Mandark when I think of bowl haircut.
Yeah, so it looked exactly like that. Yeah, black hair, bowl haircut.
Not a good look for you. You don't have the anything for a
nobody
bowl
should
haircut.
sport a bowl haircut. Nobody.
Literally not a single
No, it's awful. Look like a monk without the bald patch on top.
I had one kind of moment like that, but not nearly as bad, where I went and I asked them. I said something like short on the sides and long on the top, or I might have even said I don't know, whatever. Short on the top, something like that. That must have been what I said, like short on the sides and then like long on the top. And he just cut the whole thing, basically did a buzz cut. And then as he was like finishing the buzz cut, I'm like, what is he doing? Oh my God. But I'm also like, I'm the person at the end when they're like, how's your haircut? And I just like, I'm like, great. And on the inside, I'm like crying. Right. Like I never like, I just can't tell a hairstylist that I hate their work. I don't know why. But anyway, as he was like almost done, he's like, oh, I think I mixed that up. Because he like had started with the top, and so now the rest of it had to be short. Right. So at the end, so he went around and like edged it with a razor. It was like a barber shop, and like I could tell he like felt a little bad, but he's like, actually, it looked pretty good. Like that's the funny part. I was in college. I was at I don't know, we were at Becker, I think like junior year or something. But well, you don't care. Shit. That was the year where he had a girlfriend, and I never saw him anymore. Yeah. But
these things happen.
These things happen.
It's just $1.
But anyway, at the end, he went to like shake my hand, and I actually just didn't see him. I'm not the type who would just like not shake guy's hand, but I didn't see him, and I just like turned away and left. And then my friend was there, like, wow, you just like totally let that guy hanging. And I was like, did I? Like, I didn't even notice. So like, it probably looked like, even though he did do my hair not the way I asked, it came out good. And then I just didn't shake his hand. So I had a weird experience, but not, I mean, it wasn't a bowl cut. I like, actually, it was like kind of like a really masculine, like, it was kind of like a crew cut, but like with like a razor edging.
Style to it.
Yeah, it was solid. It was solid.
Hair's a big deal, especially here at Nat1 Presents.
So extreme rage at the hairdresser is nerdy to you.
I think
I feel like the prompt of this session made me got a little lost.
No, I was just saying the fact that I had a bowl haircut.
Oh, you had a bowl hair. True.
As an adult.
True. Because that's only something in like fantasy, like fiction. Right. Do you see that? So
in
you brought fiction to life.
Right.
Okay, that goes
like
up there.
Mob Psycho, like bowl
that
haircut.
goes up there. Okay.
Chris knows what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, I got a few more. I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
Okay.
You know, I have a bachelor's degree, right? No big deal.
I don't have one of those.
Yeah, well, I also have tens of thousands of dollars of student loans, so I don't really know.
I
who's
don't
the winner
have any
there.
of those.
I don't. I'm not exactly bragging about it. But did I ever tell you what my degree was in?
No, you have not.
Computer game design.
No way.
Ask me how useful that is.
How are you using it today?
Not very useful.
Ooh.
I somehow got into marketing. Thank goodness. Because our degree was called Chris has the same degree. Sorry. Our degree was called interactive media - computer game design, and so I just left off the - computer game design, so I just had an interactive media degree, and then got hired to do like web marketing stuff, and that's where I've been 10 years later. That's what
That's
I'm doing.
crazy.
And it's worked out. But so I went to school. We like made, Chris and I made not good ones, but we made like video games or demos or levels for our college degree. So
Ooh.
that's pretty nerdy if you ask me.
That is nerdy.
It's no ball haircut, but
Oh,
sorry, I'm gonna definitely bring that up
that's
like
fine.
a lot. What else you got? I got one more, even though I've kind of played most of my cards.
All
at this
right.
point.
Well, this one will be my last one then.
Okay.
I have a serious problem playing any trivia game. Like I get aggressive. And
Is this about the
intense.
Harry Potter trivia?
Well, nobody plays me at Harry Potter trivia anymore. Because
told me that stuff.
nobody plays me anymore. My whole family, no, we're not playing with you. I might as well just throw it out. What am I gonna play? Pickles? Like I'll still crush her.
I really want to be at like a family trivia night with you guys.
So the story is we were playing a standard Trivial Pursuit, and it was boys versus girls at a family get together or whatever, like a reunion type deal. Boys versus girls, huge crowd. The question came up, and I answered it before it was said just like name this director or name this actor or something, and I answered it before any prompts showed up.
Yeah, because you're just that good.
Right, and I just took a shot.
Did
in the
you just
dark.
guess though, or was
I
it
totally-
really just luck?
No, I totally just guessed, and it was
Okay.
luck.
Were you drinking?
Oh yeah, I was drunk.
Oh,
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I guessed, Mom knows this story. Mom, I love you. I know you're watching. But it was Robert Redford was the answer. And I just shot it out. Is because I felt like they said Robert Redford 4 fucking times already throughout this trivia. Like apparently every answer is Robert fucking Redford.
Yeah, why not? Right?
So I just said it. Robert
Statistically
Redford.
speaking,
You
Robert
know?
Redford.
And then like the prompts started going up for the clues to the answer. And then I remember my cousin sitting over there was like, oh my God, it is Robert Redford. And I was like, yes, give me the point. Give the guys, because I get super aggressive and like it's the only time. Yeah. I get super worked up, especially if I've been drinking. Like I get mean about it. I'm not going to lie. And I was like, give me the point. And then they said they're not going to give me the point. Totally.
That's not how it works.
No.
I mean, you are
Unjust.
probably a huge douchebag.
Oh,
Huge.
I guarantee it.
Huge. But they
Guaranteed.
can't not give you the point. That's not how
Right?
Trivial Pursuit works.
Like I answered it. Give me the point.
give you the point.
And they wouldn't give me the point. And then I started freaking out. And I was like, I was basically like, yeah, the Celtic voice was coming out. I was like, how dare you? How dare all of you? And then that was when my mom, who I'm pretty sure was drinking wine at the time as well,
Probably
got
needed
up
to, yeah.
in front of, this is in front of the whole family. Why do you always have to do this? You ruin everything. And I'm like, everything? Mom! And it really hurt my feelings when I was drunk. Mom, sorry I'm telling everyone the story, but it's super funny.
If you're Nate's mom, he's told me this story at least 4 times, and
Mm-hmm.
so I know it's really weighing on him. That one night that you guys played Trivial
I still
Pursuit.
feel really bad about it, but on the same side of that coin, I still feel entitled to my fucking point. The guys' team should have won. I'm sorry. It was my point.
So did you guys lose because
I have no
of that
idea because
point?
they kicked me out.
Oh, right. That did happen.
They said leave. I had to leave the living room. I forgot what I did after that because I usually like go crawl and pout somewhere. I'm like emo kid. you know?
That seems very
But
emotional.
yeah. But I have no idea who won. I think they might have actually stopped playing. I think I might have ruined the fun for everybody that
Yeah,
night.
you probably killed it. I doubt
Yeah.
it continued to be fun.
How do you
after
get
that.
back? Like if somebody else did it and I was there, the fun would have kept going. I would have been like, so on to the next question, huh, guys? But I don't know if anybody else can play that off. I think the night was ruined after that.
I feel like people after this episode will think very different of you, and not in the way I thought they would have. Like, wow, we really learned a lot about this person. It's like, yeah, wow, we learned a lot.
Right, you're learning a lot
and
about
it's
me.
like, ooh.
Turns out we hate other Nate.
All right, so we're gonna need to do a trivia night at some point. I think that is the big conclusion. And we'll have to make friends and start drinking
Harry Potter trivia?
Harry Potter trivia. By the
All
way,
right.
you saw that their HBO is making a show supposedly.
Yeah, you sent me that, and I am super stoked about it. I feel like
welcome.
HBO Max is tapping into
Yeah.
Nat1 Presents.
We said, why isn't there a show? A couple weeks later, there's a show.
Boom.
So HBO Max, where's our check?
Yep. Send it to us. Nat1 Presents.
It's only $1.
Just $1.
No, the check should be a lot more.
HBO Max, you give us more
Lot
than
more.
$1.
A lot more.
You have more than that.
Way more.
Wonder Woman made at least $12.
Do not say that word in front of me. Chris knows the other day, and he was trying to be like, well, I heard no. I like laid into it anyway. All right, I got my last story. And then we're gonna have the judge weigh in. And I actually went into this, listeners, thinking like, there's no way I'm gonna beat Nate. But after hearing this conversation, I think I have a chance because we just really learned that you are a very flawed, traumatized human being.
Correct.
Whereas I actually shared things that were probably in more standardly what's considered nerdy. But
Okay.
my very last thing is in college, and actually Chris joined me many a times. We went to a gaming convention called PAX East. We did a number of times. And one year, I made my own costume.
What was it?
What do you think it was? You'll never guess.
No, I'll never guess.
Okay. So I was a giant turnip from Super Mario.
Oh, okay.
A giant, like just this big.
Yeah.
And like this around. And so I used foam insulation. I bought like 20 cans from Home Depot. Those fumes in our dorm, whoo! Yeah, Chris knows. Yeah, not
But did
healthy.
it look good?
Not healthy. Ugh. Well, I don't know. For like a guy who just winged it, I did sew my own. So basically I used foam insulation. Then I like made like a just giant like sphere.
Right.
Then I carved the sphere into like a turnip shape. Then I cut that in half. Then I carved out cavities for me to go like this.
Right.
Which for the viewer, just me like trying to like put my chest out and my arms super wide.
Right.
And then I just had these like pegs to like stick it back together. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so I put that on, and then I sewed the actual like with like a white furry fabric over it, and then like did the face on the turp, which is super easy. And then my friend went as I'm really into Daisy. If you guys know me, I love Princess Daisy, which is pretty much just like the doppelganger of Princess Peach.
Right.
And Princess Peach and Daisy both pulled the turnips out of the ground. So I basically, the whole joke was I went with Princess Peach or Daisy, doesn't matter. I was a giant accessory, right? I'm an accessory that she pulls out of the ground and throws somebody.
Yep.
Literally a disposable
Like that's her
item.
move.
And I was like taller than her and like wider than her in every direction. And then people working at booths as I'd walk by would like pin their like badges and swag to me, like as I because I was just so big and obnoxious and like weird. And then a story that always stands out to me was this one chick, and she's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm like a turnip from Super Mario." She's like, "Oh, I only played the original Mario." So I'm like, "This is from the second fucking Mario game that ever existed. Like this is the original." Like
Easy.
clearly, this person just didn't know what they were talking
Right.
about. And she's like, "I only play the originals." I'm like, "Okay, we're done here." So I sewed and created my own cosplay that I wore at a convention of a giant turnip from Super Mario.
That is a good one.
What else? Do you got anything left?
No, I think what we can really take away from this is that nerds come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
It doesn't like I like watch all the Harry Potters. I read all the books. I do all the nerdy stuff.
Sure.
But I feel like what really makes you a nerd is what's in your heart.
Aw, and trauma. I think
Lots
trauma.
of trauma.
I think lots of trauma came up.
I'm still sorry about the trivia night, Mom. I love you.
Please forgive him so I can stop hearing this story. It's like a confessional every time before we have to do an episode. He has to tell me the Harry Potter trivia story. It's burden on me at this point.
I still want my point.
Anyway, we were going to have Chris, our backstage producer, weigh in, but I think what we decided is we're both losers here.
Yes.
If being a nerd is to just embrace losing,
yes.
I think is what we determined. So,
Yep.
wow. I'm exhausted. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even saying that for like, comedic relief. Like, I feel very tired from this battle.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if we should continue to go up against each other. Like it's
not like this. It's too taxing.
It was
on
like
my
two
emotions.
titans just annihilating,
Right.
like the entire earth in which we bask.
I'm ready to go cry in a corner. I'm not gonna lie.
What else is new? All right, so hey, if you enjoyed our show, which I'm doubting it today, go ahead.
It's a good
Give
show.
us- check out our Patreon. It's only $1.
Just $1.
Just $1. I'm so tired of saying that. I'd like to start saying something else. Plug really anything else. So just
Right.
go ahead, become a patron. But also check us out. We're on social media. Obviously, tell your friends about it. Share episodes if you think it was funny. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever. If you use it, we are there.
And leave reviews. Like, we want to hear from you, the fans. Like, it takes 5 seconds. I know there's a lot of you watching. Just leave a review, leave a comment, leave anything. Let us know you're listening.
And, do us a favor. In the United States, when you open like Apple Podcasts, it's only going to show you reviews from your region. So actually, if you're leaving reviews in other countries, thank you. We can't see it.
Right.
So maybe send us a comment so that we know, and we'll like send us the review as a DM and we'll read it. We will honor you. But we can't see it if it's not in the United States.
Right.
But yeah, we just want some attention, some input, some goddamn engagement. What do I got to do?
Yeah, I'm talking to you in Deutschland.
Right.
Say ausgezeichnet, sehr gut, and we'll say danke. It's that easy.
And that's all, folks. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Bye-bye.